Yeah, and I'll be going through a brief PowerPoint, and then I know that some of you submitted some questions when you registered, so we'll get to those if they're not answered during the session. And then we'll open it up for questions, but I always like to let students know I don't mind being interrupted. So if you want to ask me a question during the presentation, I'm totally fine with that. And along with that, you can also enter your questions in the chat as they pop up in your mind. So if it's during the presentation and you would feel more comfortable leaving a question in the chat, feel free to use that function as well. Okay. All right, so today we're going to be talking about our Master of Science in Curriculum Development and Instructional Technology. My name is Alyssa Yesko. I'm the director of the Pathways into Education Center. Our office advises on pretty much all of the graduate programs within the School of Education at UAlbany, and we work closely with students on a lot of different things, so like answering questions about programs before they enter, helping with teacher certification once they're here, working closely with departments and faculty to support students in lots of different ways. So I like to think of us as a one-stop shop for the School of Education, and a great place to start if you have questions. If we can't answer your questions, we're going to help you find the person who can. So our contact information will be at the end of this presentation, so you can always get in touch with us. And I also want to welcome Dr. Vickers here with us today, and I'll let you say hey and introduce yourself as well.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Vickers. I'm the Assistant Director for the Curriculum Development and Instructional Technology program at University at Albany. I've been in this role for about 10 years now and working with the university for about 10 years. And I handle all of the admissions as well. So all of anyone's applications will be going through one faculty member and me. And we'll be reviewing those. Two people review your applications, so you have a good chance of having a fair and honest evaluation.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. So also a great resource to have here. You guys have the admissions person here, so a good time to ask questions about that process and about what makes a strong application, things like that. So, all right. Hold on, my computer is freezing up for some reason. Okay. So when we're talking about the degree itself, so what is at the crux of what you'll be learning? When we're talking about curriculum development and instructional technology, we're talking about that curriculum piece. That curriculum development is the what of teaching and learning. So what are you teaching, and what are your students learning? And then the instructional technology piece is how are you teaching that? How are you delivering that information and relaying that knowledge with a specific emphasis on the use of technology in the classroom? So this degree prepares you to sort of take that union of curriculum development and instructional technology and use it in your classroom. This field is supportive of numerous disciplines within education. An art teacher and a ninth grade history teacher can certainly use the things that they learn in this program, despite the fact that they're teaching quite different things, because they're learning how to best deliver information in their class, whatever that information is. And of course, it's a great degree because it prepares you to meet challenges in an ever-changing field. I always talk about at this point, when COVID happened, having the skills to move your instruction online, wherever you are as an instructor, certainly came in handy. And I think more than ever, people are leaning toward online instruction wherever that's possible. So having these skills is certainly a benefit to you. So this program is designed for professionals wishing to extend their expertise. So we know that a lot of you are already experts in your field or your content area, and this is to support you in delivering that information to others. The program is offered 100% online. And the great thing is that you can tailor the program to your specific background and whatever your goals are. So you work with your advisor to develop an area of specialization so that you can focus on that within the program. So who is the Master's in CDIT for. And I keep calling it that, CDIT, Curriculum Development Instructional Technology. That's just how we refer to it because it's a very long name. So I will call it the CDIT program for the remainder of this presentation. It's for those who are seeking professional teaching certification in New York State. So for those who already hold initial teacher certification, but then it's also for professionals without any teacher certifications who are looking for a career in curriculum development and instructional technology. And there are lots of different settings that would call for that type of expertise. So if you are one of the students who is seeking professional teacher certification, this degree fulfills the educational requirements that allow student to progress an initial certificate in any area. So if you hold one initial certificate or multiple to the professional certification level. According to New York State Education Department, you need a master's degree to earn your professional certification. And per their website, the master's degree may be in the content area of the initial. So if you have a initial teaching certificate in childhood education, the master's can be in childhood education or in a closely related subject area. Master's degrees that focus on all these different areas, including curriculum and instruction, can be related to all content areas. So like I said earlier, this degree can support a teacher no matter what it is that they're teaching. Since it's a related field, the only difference is that there's a slightly different process when you apply for professional certification. But the good news is that's what our office is here for, and we walk you through that process when the time comes. Hold on. And I also like to point out, I realize this text is so small at the bottom. If you do not currently hold any initial teaching certificates, this program does not lead to any teaching certificates. The only way that you can earn professional teacher certification is if you already hold initial. For professionals who are not seeking certification, so if you don't hold initial teaching certification, but if you are interested in this program, there are several opportunities for graduates of this program to pursue careers in a lot of different areas. So positions in government, social service, and health related fields, corporate training, developing educational media products, training adult learners, and developing curriculum and instructional technology in other educational settings. So for example, a lot of colleges and universities have a curriculum specialist who works with faculty to support their teaching at the college level. Some frequently asked questions. How long does the program typically take? This is always a wonderful question and very hard to answer. It depends on a lot of things, but if you're studying full-time throughout the entirety of the program, it can take around 1.5 to 2 years. Full-time is 9 credits at the graduate level, but it does depend on how many courses you take each semester. So, I mean, if you're a current full-time teacher, taking 9 credits may be really difficult. And also like your ability to commit. So like, what are your life circumstances? How you know, what credit load can you handle? Also, you know, do you plan to maybe try to fit some summer courses in? All of these things will factor into the time that it takes to completion. Can the program be done part-time? Yes, absolutely. There's a 6-year statute of limitation for all master's students to complete their program, which starts at the time of enrollment. But part-time study is a very common practice for those who are teaching or working in another field full-time. Can my previous graduate coursework count toward the program? Another yes. So previous applicable graduate coursework can count toward the master's in CDIT. I like to point out applicable because it does have to apply to the degree in some way. It can't be courses in a completely unrelated field. You would work with your advisor after you enroll to apply for advanced standing to see if, you know, the courses that you've taken previously can be counted toward this degree. At this time, you can bring in up to 6 credits, and some things that your advisor may consider when deciding would be content. So what is the course and the length of time since the course was taken. This degree is focused on technology, which is certainly always changing. And so if you took a course on, you know, online instruction in 1992, it might not be quite as applicable today. So I would definitely, you know, I would definitely think that more recent courses are more likely to be considered for advanced standing. So some information for just general information for applicants. What do you need for your application? transcripts from all of the schools that you've attended. I do often get the question, if you were a UAlbany student, do you need to have your transcripts sent? And the answer is no. Your UAlbany transcript will be already available. And then 3 letters of recommendation, with 1 from a professor, a 3.0 GPA or higher, statement of background and goals, and a teaching certificate if applicable. The deadline is a rolling deadline, and I always give students the recommendation of about 4 to 6 weeks before the semester starts to give the admissions committee ample time to review your application thoroughly. So why choose UAlbany? Why our program? So the ability to, so lots of ways to enhance your learning. Like I mentioned before, the ability to choose a specialization, and the flexibility to explore coursework in that area. We have faculty with a range of expertise. So this link here brings you to the department page, which you can all certainly explore. But on the department page, if you scroll down, all of the faculty from the department are listed. And you're able to click on their names to learn a little bit more about their area of expertise and the research that they have done. So this is just an example. Flexible online coursework to fit your lifestyle. That's certainly a huge draw for this program. The fact that it's fully online. There are synchronous and asynchronous courses offered, but a lot of the synchronous courses will be after typical work hours, so in the evening hours. And the curriculum is designed with current and innovative educational practices to enhance your professional value and value in the job market. So you're learning the most cutting edge information in the field. You'll have great support throughout your time in the program. So like I mentioned, great faculty with a range of specializations and expertise, advisors that guide you through your program and assist you in selecting the appropriate coursework, and provide career development and advice. The university provides 24/7 support for our online students. And we also have strong student support in our graduate student organization, who also do engage quite well with our online student population. We do have websites where you can find more information. I'm sure that at some point or another, if you're interested in this program, you have visited the program page that talks a lot about the program itself, but also provides information on deadlines and required application materials. I do want to point out that on this page, there's also a link to the graduate bulletin right here. And this tells you a little bit more about the types of courses that would be involved in the program that you would be taking as part of the program. So if you're interested in knowing more about what the coursework looks like more specifically, this is a great place to explore that. I have Dr. Vickers' email address here. So if you did have more specific questions that are maybe like super unique to you or something that you think about after this session ends, feel free to reach out. But there's also the Pi Center, which provides information, like I said, to our prospective graduate students. So that's you guys. I have the Pi Center email address listed here, which is just picenter@albany.edu. And we also have virtual Zoom hours. I want everybody to ignore the meeting number because we actually have a new meeting number that I forgot to update on this slide. But if you go to the Pi Center website, the link to join and the hours that we're on Zoom are listed there. So that's always the best place to find that information. And so now just some of the submitted topics or questions that people entered when they registered. And I think Dr. Vickers, a lot of these would be great for you to answer. But the first one, are all of the classes asynchronous, meaning that I will not be required to get on Zoom meetings at a specific time?
The answer is no. The majority of them are asynchronous. We do have a couple of courses that are hybrid online courses, which means that they are asynchronous, but they have synchronous Zoom meeting times scheduled throughout the semester. But by and large, most of the classes are asynchronous.
And I'll mention for those hybrid courses that it's usually about, when you do meet synchronously, it's usually sometime around 5 to 8 times per semester. And those dates are given to you when you register for the course. So that like right on the when you're searching for the courses that you can register for in a given semester, the dates that those synchronous meetings would happen on would be given to you at that time. So you would know them before you even register for the class. So what types of classes are taken during the program? I think, you can look at the graduate bulletin, but Dr. Vickers, if you want to give some examples of the types of courses that people take in this program.
Sure. We have a lot of classes types that are taken in the program. We have a couple of classes on social thought that are required. You have to take one class in social thought. Oftentimes that has to do with just different types of social aspects within education, race, gender equity, and like culturally sustaining practice. We have one course that you have to take on human learning and development, and that's usually the psychology behind teaching and learning. We have an instructional theory and practice course that you have to take, and that's usually like cooperative learning, computer design, or different types of seminars. There's a course on curriculum development or instructional technology. The curriculum development is just what it sounds like. You would design a curriculum. The instructional technology might be a class like integrating technology across the curriculum. Then we have supporting courses, which you take 5 supporting courses, and that can be in instructional theory and technology, language and education, math and science and education, or curriculum and instruction. And finally, our capstone course is a research seminar course, which you either take the seminar course, which is basic research in education, or another course where you would do an action research project.
What is different about this program than other schools that offer programs focused on technology?
Is that for me?
I think maybe, yeah. I mean, I think we talked about some of the things, the fact that the program is offered online, the fact that you are able to specialize in your, given area. I mean, UAlbany has been a school of education for over 100 years, and we have a history of, not only giving back to the field of education, but also staying up to date on the most current and important things in the field. So like we're deeply rooted in education. I know UAlbany is known for a lot of other things, but where we started was as a teachers college back
right.
in 1884 or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Sure
I
when.
think that those are some things that set it apart. And then
We are ranked.
somebody wanted
We are
go ahead.
nationally ranked.
Yes, we are. Actually, we are consistently ranked as the School of Education is consistently ranked within the top 10 for online programs across the country. So not just within New York State or not just within the region, but we're ranked for our online programs. And we've been doing online programs for the past 20 years. So we've got a lot of experience in delivering our courses online, and our faculty have a lot of experience with that as well. Someone wanted to know a little bit more information on the instructional technology aspect of the program. So what are students learning and what are they doing in the class to learn about that?
We have a lot of different projects that go on in classes. We have several classes about how to teach online specifically, whether it be a fully online class, a blended class, a flipped class, or a high flex class. We have Dr. Zhang will teach a class on knowledge integration within wikis. We do use a lot of wikis, or we have been using a lot of wikis and blogs. We teach education, integrating educational technology across the curriculum. We're about to hire, we're looking to hire somebody on artificial intelligence in education. So we are pretty much, if it's a technological aspect of education, we typically will offer it or make a class if there's enough people interested in offering in taking that type of class.
Thank you.
There's questions in the
so that was those were
also.
the submitted questions. But we did have a really good question in the chat, which is let's see. Do most students who are full-time teachers typically take courses in the summer or winter semesters in addition to the fall and spring?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that that's pretty common. And I think, the winter, I don't know that we have as many courses offered over the winter, but the summer we have a decent one. Okay. I think over the summer, there's a decent number of courses offered.
Yeah, summer we offer maybe 15 to 20 classes. And a lot of students will take 2 or 3 courses during the summer since teachers have summers. Well, they have summers off. Being a former school teacher, I know that that's not quite true, but a lot of people will take 2 or 3 classes during the summer so they can progress through the program more quickly.
Another great question. Is it okay that when I apply, I might not have initial certification? This person will graduate in May with their initial, but would like to start in the summer. Absolutely. That's actually one of the wonderful things about this program, because it's considered a related master's and you don't have to have certification in order to enter. We've had students who were in the process of applying for New York State certification because they earned their certification in another state, and that process can take some time, but they really wanted to get started on their master's. So they were able to start the master's in CDIT, and they may not have earned initial until they were a full year into the program. And that's absolutely fine. Another question, does it matter what semester you begin the program? I'm thinking about starting my master's this summer in particular. So is a summer start fine?
That is fine.
Yes.
Any semester is fine to start, except winter. Winter is the only semester you
Yeah, you
cannot
can't
start the
apply to
program.
start in the winter. Are on-campus facilities available for online students to use?
That's a very good question. I believe that you have to have all of your vaccinations, including your
Yes.
COVID vaccination, up to date to even step foot on campus. You have to have your vaccinations. And a lot of the CDIT students do vaccination waivers. So you don't have to be vaccinated for measles, mumps, rubella, nor COVID, but they can't come on campus.
Right. Is there required field experience throughout the program? This person just wants to make sure that they're planning properly with regard to access to schools or students if they are not teaching full time.
No, the only time that you would have to have access to a class is if you took ETAP 681, which is research and practice, and that's the course that I told you is a capstone class, and it is an action research class, but you don't even have to take that course. So no, you don't have to have access to a student population.
Another great question. How can we make our applications stand out?
Well, be honest in your application, I think is the biggest thing. And you want to illustrate that you have a desire for education and that you have a desire to get into the particular program to which you apply. So to the CDIT program.
Mm-hmm.
And you will want to mention your reasonings for applying to the CDIT program. Some people like to put anecdotes about their childhood and how they always wanted to be teachers. But to be honest, we looked for people who are really interested in pursuing technology or curriculum and instructional design in terms of moving forward with their degree.
I always like to tell students it's a lot of why is this program a good fit for me and why am I a good fit for this program? So it involves doing some reading on the program websites and getting to know the values of the program and sort of incorporating that in your statement of goals. Of course, having it be well written is also, I don't review the applications, but a well written grammar, all that stuff, that's important to me. I'm sure it's important to an admissions committee. Another question, can you speak more about the selectivity of the program? How often do folks apply to a second SUNY program and grad education program at the same time as a backup?
Well, I'm not sure about how often people apply to a different program as a backup, but by and large, we will accept students provided that they have the required GPA, solid recommendation letters, one from a former professor, if possible. If you've been out of school for 10 years, there's a chance that your professor is not going to remember you. So we then look for a letter of recommendation from an employer. who can attest to your teaching ability and as much to your academic ability as possible. But if you make the criteria to get into the program, then we typically will allow you. It's not a competitive, like first come, like the best person gets into the program and the person who was qualified that was just under the other person doesn't. We have a large availability for classes, and so we were able to absorb a lot of students within the program. It's when your GPA starts dipping below the 3.0 that you are in danger of not getting into the program. You might be admitted as a non-degree student. Does that help, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think that was a great answer.
The average at the university, and this is university-wide, the average student to teacher ratio for classes is 1 to 30, but that's a cap of 30 students within an online course. Sometimes the courses don't have 30 students in the course, though. Sometimes you might have a course with 15 peers. Because we have discussions within the master's level courses, oftentimes I think that you'll find that a slightly larger ratio of students within the class is better because you have more peers with whom you can exchange ideas and learn more from.
For the classes you mentioned that were hybrid, are the classes offered at night for full-time teachers?
Yes, they're offered at night. Typically the instructors will start classes after the regular school day is ended. And I don't think we have any weekend courses. I don't think any instructors wants to take their Saturday to instruct, just like you don't want to take your Saturday to pursue to grade papers or do anything like that. So it's usually during the weeknights, and it's usually one night a week if it is. And it's as Dr. Yeska said, it's select throughout the semester. You may meet 8 times throughout the semester on like a Monday night from 4:50 to 7:20, or from 5 o'clock to 7:20. There is no field work in the program.
Yeah, no field work. Good question. How soon in the program would you be paired with an advisor?
As soon as you're admitted into the program, we give you an advisor.
It's usually on their admission letter, I believe.
It is on the admission letter, and usually sometimes the advisor will beat the admission letter out and sending a welcome email.
Any other questions? If you want to start in the summer, when would you recommend to apply by?
Theoretically, you could apply a week before summer began, but you wouldn't want to. You would want to start your application as soon as possible. I don't believe summer registration begins until mid-November, but you want to get your application in because summer classes fill up quickly.
Okay.
So you don't want to wait too terribly long before applying for summer.
Would you say like maybe have their application in by March? Is that a good time?
I'm trying to think. I think November is when we start
For summer?
for summer registration. I might begin in November, or maybe it changes year to year. So it's kind of hard to put a finger on it.
Okay.
But I believe we're finalizing the schedule by mid-November.
Okay.
But you could try January or February. Anything later than that, registration has probably been ongoing and classes may have closed, and that's something that you don't want. You want to have a very good selection for the classes.
How fast do classes fill up when registering during the spring and fall? And if I am applying for the spring semester, do I also make my own schedule?
How fast a class fills up depends on the class. There are some classes that fill up in a day, and there are some classes that don't fill up for 3 weeks, especially during summer. But you're asking for spring or fall. I have a popular class, 524, which is integrating technology across the curriculum, and it's not full yet. We've been in spring registration for, I think, 2 weeks now, a week now. So nothing's going to fill up anytime soon. And if you're applying for spring semester, you would work with your advisor to make your schedule.
Are there certain courses only offered in the fall or spring?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are certain classes that, like 524, which is integrating technology across the curriculum, is offered only during spring and summer. We have, and typically any class that's offered during fall will be offered the next fall. And any class that's offered during spring will be offered the next spring. Summer sometimes is more fluid in terms of what's being offered, because not all professors work during summer. It's an optional thing for them, and some might decide to not work. So if they're not working that summer, the class they teach might not be offered.
Are students typically able to get into the classes they need?
Yes. I don't think we've ever had a student, well, we've never had a student not be able to graduate because they could not get into a class, if that's what you're asking, Allison.
There's some really awesome, really great questions. If you guys have any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to the Pi Center or Dr. Vickers. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to help you sort of, navigate that process. So, yeah, otherwise I think, yes, thank you. I'll put the Pi Center email in there as well, just because I know you can't copy and paste from the PowerPoint slide. Yeah, I thank you all for spending a little bit of time with us this evening to learn a little bit more about the program. And I hope that it was helpful. I hope you learned something. And I also hope to maybe see, we hope to see some of these names come through as applicants. That would be wonderful. So yeah, thank you all so much and for the wonderful questions. And thank you, Dr. Vickers.
No, thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.